it was kind of crazy how this all has turned out, because in 2018, well, 2017, my dad had passed away young, very young. And like 4 months later, my partner at the time, Clayton, he ended up getting really sick with, of all things, he had a fungal infection from digging in the garden. It got in on his skin. It was a ringworm infection, but it was so, what's the word I'm looking for? Aggressive, that it got into his bloodstream and started to spread. And the doctors gave him antifungals, but they kept upping the dose, but not checking his liver values. I questioned that because I used to work with animals. I was like, like, I'm not a vet, but 23 years with animals, and I've seen lots of dosing. This seems odd to me. And they were like, well, you're not married. We don't have to talk to you. And yeah, I went on a work trip to Mexico for some animal training. And then I came home and found him just yellow and sick and on the couch. And I rushed him to the hospital. And that's when they told us that he had complete liver failure. And I had 8 months left. So I took care of him for 8 months, which was a complete mind screw. You don't expect that at all, especially at our age. I had just lost my dad, so I was trying to compensate in so many ways and be there for my mom. And then my mom had to come and help me. So it was just, life was all out of order and out of whack. And then Clayton passed away, and I had to just kind of figure out who I was now. What my whole life was just, it was so weird. We didn't have a lot of friends because we had just moved to a new area. So I was pretty lonely. All I had was Facebook at the time. So I shared when he was sick, I would do updated posts so all of our friends would know. And then that turned into me sharing about missing him right after he passed away. And I have a friend who works for Soaring Spirits International, which is a widowed support group. I didn't even know it existed. Like, there's a whole world you don't even understand. Like, nobody tells you about this when you're younger, that this may happen. And I ended up, she reached out to me because her fiance, my friend Cole, had passed away in a scuba diving accident. And so Jenny and I started to reconnect, and she said, hey, we have widowed bloggers for every day of the week except for Saturday, and we don't have anybody that represents the LGBTQ community. Would you do it? So I was like, oh, I don't know about this one. Let me see. And what I've started to learn to do in my adult age is when I pull back and go, I don't know if I should, that's the universe telling me you need to do it because somebody needs to do it. And so I said, fine, I'll give it a shot. And I started writing. And every Saturday, almost for 5 years, I wrote this blog. I didn't share it on social media much. I kind of just left it to the widowed community until the pandemic hit. And when it hit, I got very depressed because I was home alone, trapped, couldn't go anywhere. I had to go to work because we had to take care of the animals, but that was it. And I had just started to go out and be social again and think about dating again. And then the world was like, sucker, nope, and shut the door. So I had a friend from high school reach out, and she said, I'm worried about you. I think you should go to TikTok. People are just having fun over there and you love to dance. And I was like, isn't that for like teenage girls? Like, what is this? She's like, no, really, go look. And I looked, and I saw grieving people trying to find ways of entertaining themselves because they were stuck. And I was like, wait a minute, I know this. This was year 1 of being widowed, and I'm going into year like 3 now. I see what's happening. And that's when it clicked. I was like, I've got to start making sure that I'm in control of my own joy. And every day I made myself do a TikTok video, even if it was for just 3 minutes. It was me stopping everything and saying, do something fun for yourself. If you want to go back to your emotions after that, fine, but you need a break from all of that. You've got to do this. So I started to do that and realized people were connecting. And that's when I said, I think the world needs a little bit more. And I started sharing my blog on Facebook and Instagram. And that is where things started to really blow up because they saw me dancing. on TikTok, and then heard my story and said, how do you even do this? How do you go from grieving to gratitude and dancing, and even in the same day? And that's when I just started to share more and more, because the whole world was grieving, but it felt like it was 2 years behind me. So I was like, come on, everybody, come on, like there's smiles in the future, let's go. And then Instagram had reels and Facebook took off, and now I'm hanging out with you.
I'm so glad that you are.